When you look at the Eagles pass rush and how aggressive they are, and you are missing your offensive linemen from practice, how does that play itself out? Is this actually, do they schematically do things that you wish you could have these guys at practice, or is it really just about winning one-on-one competitions?
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good pass rush. Obviously, they do a great job of getting after the passer. Having them in practice, I don't think is crucial. Obviously, you'd like to get the practice reps, but it's going to come down to one-on-one matchups. And, Jack missing the week is, a true vet like he is. I'm sure he's done a ton of film studies, doing a great job of keeping up with his conditioning. He'll be ready to roll. So I don't have any concerns there. But they are a very good front in their pass rush.
And then if I could follow, just now that you're 10 games in with the rookie, with Jedrick, is he still a guy that you kind of have to think, all right, we have to give him extra help, or is he not a rookie anymore?
Yeah, you always consider helping your edges, especially with the rush like this. He'll get some help at times, obviously. So will Jack. It's just kind of the way we're built. But he's been playing well. He's still a rookie, so there's still a lot of room for improvement. But he's come in and he's played well. He's been available, and he's done a nice job. We got to keep him on sides. He's got a little streak there of jumping off sides when the false starts. But overall, he's going to continue to grow each week.
Thank you, Didi. Zach Jackson, you're up next.
Hi, Alex. Two-part question. What makes a good screen team, and what makes Kareem so good? He looks like a natural when he catches it on the screen and guys are.
Yeah, well, obviously Kareem's great in space. He's going to make guys miss. He can make you miss. He can run through arm tackles. That's a big part of it. Screens come down to your linemen, the timing, I think, the landmarks of where you are in the field. Those are all critical and crucial. You have different variations of screens, different counts of screens, but just everybody leaving at the same time, regardless of how many count screen it is, and then getting in those right spots on the field. And then, when you get those linemen in space, those guys are lesser athletes at times, but the aggression that they show is always key when they throw on those guys. So even if they don't get them down, just getting in their legs and, give them something extra to think about. But, good screen teams are guys that have a good feel for the timing and the landmarks of the screens.
Are you guys a good screen team?
We are. We haven't screened a ton yet, but when we do, we've had success. It's something that we feel good about. We rep it a lot off to the side with the linemen for the timing and purposes.
Thank you, Zach. Tony Grossi, we'll go to you.
Hey, Alex, I think you used the pistol formation maybe a couple times in that one series. I'm wondering, was that a reason? Obviously, it came from the bye week. Was it a result of a suggestion by the quarterback or the coaches?
It's just something that you throw in there for window dressing, to be honest with you. Throw a pistol in there just to give them a different look, give them something to talk about, give them something to think about. Does it have any purpose other than that? Probably not at this point. And
as with your fullback in isolation right now, have you been able to tinker more with Chubb and Hunt in the same backfield?
Yeah, you'd always like to get your playmakers on the field, and whatever groupings that put the best group of guys out there, those guys will be involved. We've done it in the past, and it's definitely part of something we can get to.
Thank you, Tony. Nate Orrick, you're up next.
Hey, Coach, is there anything about what Nick Chubb was able to do coming off that injury that surprised you or stood out to you at all? And I just wondered if there was anything you were able to take from his last run of the game and kind of use it as a, coaching point or teaching tool for other guys, or anything you had as kind of a follow-up thought to that?
Yeah, first question, I think I was not surprised because I saw the way Nick practiced last week. I saw the burst acceleration. He looked like Nick. I'm sure he felt a little rusty at times, but no, I was not surprised by his performance. As far as the last play goes, you would expect Nick to do that. Nick does everything you ask of him. He's a true pro. He's a great pro. He's very unselfish. I think I may have been excited that he was going to score. I forgot we had told him no moss there to end the game if we got the first down. But, I would take 53 Nick Chubbs, the way he works, his attitude, and his unselfishness all day long. He's a great pro.
Thank you, Nate. Scott Patrick has our next question.
Hey, Coach, I know we talked about that 1-2 punch of Nick and Kareem a bunch, but how special is it that they were both able to get 100 yards in the same game, something that hadn't been done here since the mid-'60s?
It was very special. Those two guys are very deserving of all the credit they get. They're both excellent runners. Kareem would be a Pro Bowl style starter on most teams. We're lucky to have them both, and to get them both over 100, that was special. That was a point of emphasis. In the weather conditions, we knew we wanted to run the ball and run it efficiently and effectively, and both those guys provided that for us.
And you've mentioned having both of them gives each guy fresh legs as the game goes on. But on defense, like, how do you notice the defense getting worn down by you being able to rotate those two guys?
I think it's just like you said, the fresh legs, the fresh body in there, the guy that's going to run through the arm tackles and break tackles and still have that freshness in them. As defenses continue to have to tackle these guys, at every level of the defense, eventually, you're going to pop some of those runs. That was the thing. I thought we did a great job. We were patient in our run game last week. We stuck with it, knowing that eventually we were going to pop some of those runs. They were close. And, the more attempts at the plate, the more the runners get a feel for the scheme, the more the linemen and the tight ends in the back, the fullback understands how they're going to block a certain run scheme. And eventually that thing came out like it did, last Sunday.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Dan Lobby, we'll go to you.
Hey, Coach, with the way you guys have to do things virtually, is there a greater burden on guys to kind of work independently and do stuff on their own, off hours?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think it's hard for these guys. The good part about it is we went through the off season virtually, so they're used to it. It wasn't anything new going into this intensive protocol, so those guys understand the importance of each meeting. You might be at home on your couch. There might be distractions, but you have to lock in. That's the one thing they're missing. They're not in the room with the coaching staff right now. They're not locked in that regard, but they have to take that same mentality and that same approach when they're at home. So, it's been good so far. It's going to be that way for the rest of the year. And like I said, luckily we had the off season to really emphasize the importance of the virtual meetings.
But what do you kind of miss most about not having guys in the building all day?
Me personally, it's seeing interacting with face to face. I mean, it's tough. It is what it is, but you don't only get to see the whole group out on the practice field. It's kind of different. Usually you go into a meeting, you have the unit in there, and you're in there 5 minutes early, and you're just talking to guys. You're getting understanding where they're from, seeing how the wives and the kids are doing. It's just that personal interaction. You kind of lose a little bit of that. So that's the biggest thing I miss. It's just the face to face interaction in the meeting rooms.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Mary Kay Cabot, back to you.
Yeah, Coach, can you address the pressure that Baker is going to be facing in this game? And traditionally, so far this season, he hasn't held up to it that great, just from a numerical standpoint. Have you guys learned more about him or dug into the film more since he has faced the pressure of like a Steelers team? Do you feel more confident that he can handle it? And then I'm sure you'll probably also counter with more Nick Chubb this time around.
Yeah, they are good at their pressures. There's no question that they generate pressure with their front four, more or less. They blitz at a lower rate than most teams, but their blitzes are effective. So that's definitely something we've discussed, and we'll have different ways to combat that.
And how about Baker? What makes you confident that that he will do better against this type of pressure this time around? Do you have him getting the ball out quicker? Or I know you can't give me the game plan, but I mean, why do you think he'll do better?
Because he's growing in the system. I think he's feeling more comfortable with everything at this point, and we'll help him. We'll definitely help him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. We'll take two more, Nate Ulrich and Scott Petrick. Nate, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Sometimes we get to ask you about these Jarvis Landry milestones. 600 receptions. Not many guys have done it, since he's entered the league. What does it say about him and consistency and availability and everything when you kind of look at his career and where he's at?
You see a guy that loves football. You see the way he practices. You see the way he competes on game day. He loves to play the game. It's special for him to get that 600th reception. That was big. But there's a guy that comes to work every day with the lunch bucket and the hard hat. He just goes to work and does his job. And when it comes to game day, he just loves to compete. He competes in the run game just as hard as he does in the pass game. So glad that we can continue to get him the ball.
Obviously you want to win. You want to do whatever you can to win, and you've had two weather games back to back. But how much would you like to see him get in the end zone? It's so rare to look at, his game logs this season and not see that in there yet.
Yeah, that's just the way the ball's bounced for him this year, but he'll get in there soon.
Thank you, Nate. Final question to Scott Petrick.
Alex, how good has Jack Conklin been for you this year? And do you feel like he was kind of a stabilizing force on the right side of that line?
I definitely do. Great pickup for us in the offseason, getting him involved, getting him on board. He's another guy that's a true pro. When you talk about doing it right every day, coming to work, putting the work in, and then you see the results. He's obviously a very talented player. Does a great job on that right side. But all those guys really, they work really hard, and that's it's good to see him having that success.
And Brandon Graham's, he's a tough matchup for a lot of guys. What makes him a tough one?
His strength and size, the power. I think he's got not a real tall guy, but he's got great strength and power, and then multiple pass rush moves. Obviously, a veteran, been doing it now for a while at a high level. So, he's definitely a guy that you are aware of, and I feel like we match up well. I think Jack will do